Alright guys, today I wanted to talk about this new joiner planer I purchased a couple days ago. This is a Rong Fu 6-inch joiner and 4-inch planer. You see the model number is RF-PT150. Now on Google you cannot find a manual, you barely can find pictures for this thing. From my understanding, this particular item is a company that custom builds items for companies. So this is one of those ones where if you get one of these, it's going to be hard for you to repair and find specific belts and things like that for. So I wanted to shoot a YouTube on it just to explain some things. So I'm basically going to break it down and clean it up, lube it up, and put it all back together and set everything. So let's take a look at the product itself. Has a off and on switch. Cord comes out the bottom. Looks like the cord's been cut here. I don't know yet, but let's stand up. This is how it looks from a top view. This arm on the side here, this is what comes down and covers the blade for you. A lot of them did not have this arm on it. I just happened to be able to get one that had the cover for it. It also comes with a fence that slides in here, and then you tighten it up here. That's the actual fence to it. You can see the blade here. If I turn it a little bit, that's the blade right there. I don't want to touch it and get cut, but if I hold it at an angle, you can kind of see the blade. It only has one blade on it. See that? So it's only one blade. Some of the newer ones have 3 blades on this. Let's go around to the back. This is how it looks from the back. Some of the ones that I saw online, they did not have this cover on it. A lot of them were rusted out. I just so happened to get one that was in pretty decent shape. A lot of people ask, what is this lever for? We're gonna find out what that lever is for once I take off the cover and everything. So we're gonna start with taking this bolt loose and this bolt loose and this bolt and this bolt. So this part's gonna come off first, and then we're gonna go for the other 2 bolts. All right, these are the 2 bolts I took off first, which were the ones that were down here. This is the cover that came off. All right. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to take off is this bolt and this bolt, and I'm going to take off this I'm going to take off the actual fence because it's blocking this pulley here. So let's do that and put some of this stuff away. Alright, so let's start taking this belt off. I'm just going to pull it and turn it. Try not to get my fingers smashed under it. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, if you get one of these and yours does not have a belt number on it, that's the belt number right there, 15-770. that is the main pulley, because this is the motor down here, and this is the actual blade. This is the cutting blade. So if anybody needs this belt, that's what that belt is, 15-770. All right. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and take those screws off, and I'll come back. Okay, I got the bolts off, and let's go ahead and take this cover off. There you go. Pull it off, and then kind of lift up a little bit. There you go. All right. So now we see how it looks from the inside. Let's see. So it has a chain on it, and then it has another belt here, and then you got the main cutting belt that went across these two pulleys. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking off the cutting surfaces. So I can see that it has two, I guess those are 13 millimeter bolts here, and then two on the other side, and then the other side is exactly the same. It's two there, and then, well, actually it's only two. Oh, and then it has these two Allen nuts at the top. Look like T30s, but we're gonna start by taking this side off first. So we're gonna take these two 13 millimeters out, and then we're gonna go to the other side and take out these two, and then I'll come back. All right. So I want you to know that when you take off these bolts, there's actually a nut in the inside of here too. So you got to make sure you catch those when you take that off. I wanted to make sure I let you know that. See, there's two in there also. All right guys, so I got all four of the nuts and bolts off. They were not 13s, they were actually 12 millimeters. The one closest to here, I had to use a wrench. I did this one last though, so I took all the other ones off, and then I did this one last. I took it loose, and then kind of wiggled the you know, the surface part for the wood back and forth to kind of get it away from this chain, so I don't have to take this part off. And then it came out. I used a long magnet to get in there and get the bolts that fell. I also wanted to let you guys know that this part on the side right here, like if I just kind of give you a side view, that part under the bottom, that's actually a planer. So it's a joiner and planer together, which is very, very cool. I did find out what this lever is for. This lever is to loosen this drive belt right here. You can't get this belt off because this belt's so tight. So what you do is you pull up, and it locks itself, you know, right here. If you go on the other side, it has like a little button. What you do is you smash that button in, and then you hold it so it doesn't smash your hand, and then you pull it back down, and that puts all the tension back on this belt. So right now what I want to do is I want to take the tension off the belt, because I actually want to take this belt off. There you go. This belt, I don't think it has it doesn't have a number on it. So we're gonna have to figure out the size of this belt, because it does not have a actual size on it. So don't worry about that, we'll figure that out later. Okay, so I got everything loose. just turning this because I wanted to know what this did. I guess that is the, let's see. Oh, okay, I see it. When you turn this wheel here, that's the feeder for the wood. You see it turning? That's the feeder. That's what's gonna feed the wood through for the planer. Okay. So it runs off of this main drive belt. The main drive belt goes here to here from the motor, and then this belt turns the actual belt for the feeding mechanism for the wood. It feeds the wood through while it's trimming it down. That's pretty cool. If you look up in there, everything's really clean. Yeah, view back, kind of see how that chain goes in there. So I got everything loose, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wiggle this back and forth until this comes off. All right, so I did not take this part off. I just left it on there, but if you wanted to, it comes out too. You just take a ratchet or something, just take that nut off or whatever. So I'm gonna sit this over to the side, put it on the floor down here. All right, so I got that part off right there. And now we're just gonna kind of take a look in here. See if there's anything like bent in here. What I wanna do is I wanna lube this area, because these are the, I guess when you tighten this part, it drops this tray up and down, brings it up and brings it down, depending on which way you turn it. So I'm gonna clean all this out. I'm also going to take the other side off too. All right, so remember what I said with the other side. Smooth this belt. With the other side, it looks like it's held on by Allen keys. So we're gonna take those Allen keys loose, and we're gonna take that part off too. Like I told you, I think it's a T30, but let's figure it out. All right, so it is actually a size 6 Allen wrench. Now, when you take these Allen wrench bolts out, there is actually nuts on the back side of it. So it's a nut and a washer. So when you take them loose, you're gonna hear them fall, because when I took that first one out, it fell. And it looked like it's gonna be extremely hard to put that back up in there, but we'll figure it out. And there's the other, see the one way back there? That's the one we're gonna have to figure out how to put on, and then these are easy. And they go to these Allen bolts. So I'm gonna take these off, and then we're gonna go from there. All right, so I took out those Allen screws. Remember, the 2 longest ones go on the outer, the holes closest to the outer part of the surface, and the shorter ones go closer to the blade. I did want to let you guys see that I was wrong. The blade actually has 2. So it's one there and one there. So it actually has 2 cutting blades on it, not 1. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take the rest of this apart. If you look under here, there is a knob here with a pole to it that actually screws into this bottom part down here. What this does is it moves this surface where you put the wood at. It moves it back and forth. See, if I turn it one way, it moves away from the blade. If I turn it the opposite way, it goes closer to the blade. So in order to take this all the way off, you have to unscrew that all the way out. So I'm gonna unscrew that, and then this should just basically fall off. I'm gonna move these screws first. Move these screws, and I'm gonna turn this thing until this comes all the way out. Try to hold it with my leg. Alright, and it's loose. So now this piece here, the other side, is off also. So this is how it looks, all broke down basically. I guess these slide back and forth as you turn that knob. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting getting back together, but we can do it. Okay, so just to kind of give you a breakdown of how this thing is together. As you see, this right here is the feeding blades that grabs the wood and feeds it through, and then this portion turns at a real high speed and cuts down or trims down the wood so that it's flat. Now remember, this feeder portion is it's used when the belt is on this big pulley and then across this smaller part of the blade. So if you turn this, say I'm turning it, you see the feeder turning. So if you get one of these and the feeder's not turning, it's because this belt's not on it. Either it came off, or this mechanism right here on the side is not pushed. It's not down. Remember, this has to be down to engage the feeding. The feeding won't turn unless this is down. So I guess if you're only using the top portion of it, that you don't even pull this down so that the feeder in here is not just turning, you know. And then when you're gonna use the planer part of it and you need it to feed, you can only feed from one side. I can see that because this feeder is only on one side. So you feed this way and it comes out on the other side. So push this all the way back up. That's gonna tighten it and put the belt, actually that's gonna loosen it, I'm sorry. If you pull it down, yeah, if you pull it down, that tightens it and that loosens it. So if you're gonna use the planer, have it down. If you're not gonna use the planer, which is the bottom portion of it, the feeder, you push this up, and then this feeder right here won't even turn. Now, this planer is a 6-inch wide planer and joiner. That blade is 6 inches wide. It's 6 inch and 1/8, I think. And then this flat surface here, where you put the wood for the planing, is 6 inches wide by 4 inches. So you can actually put a 4-inch thick piece of wood in here to plane, and 6 inches wide. So you can see it over here on the side. Now, I'm pretty sure a tool comes with this to be able to maneuver this surface, you know, for the planer up and down. Well, right now I put this ratchet on it, and it has a 5/16 socket. You put it on this thing here, and then you just turn it whatever way you want. if you just kind of look at this, if you turn this thing to the right, hold on, let me use my other hand. If you're turning this actually to the left, it drops it. Okay, and if I turn this thing back to the right, you can see it's raising it. Now, it sounds horrible, and I'm pretty sure it's because it needs to be lubed up. You know, these rods right here, I think it's 4 of them. Yeah, it's 4 of them. They all need to be lubed. This thing hasn't been used, so that's the feet. You know, when I turn this, it just spins in place right there. You know, I mean, but it does work. So we're gonna lube it up real good so that it'll actually spin better. I'm probably, I don't know if I'm gonna put grease on it or if I'm gonna shoot some WD-40 down there. I'll probably do both. But that's it all broke down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cleaning it up, and I'm gonna take the blades out because I want to see what the blades look like. They're sharp, but I want to see what type of blade goes in it because I don't know. So I'll be back. Alright guys, so before I remove the blades, I wanted to show you guys the mechanism that actually raises and lowers this planer board right here. These 2 screws right here is what's holding the device down to the stand. So if you look here, right in front, there's a hole here. This screw went down in there, and then you have to go up under the bottom. Probably can't see it, but you have to go up under the bottom right here and grab the nut. With, you know, you can, I held mine with my hand. It wasn't, they're fairly new, so it wasn't hard to take a loose, whatever. But there's one on this side, and there's also one on the opposite side here, and that's, like I said, it's up under, you know, the nut itself is up under the stand. Now I put a little WD-40 for now on these threaded rods. It helps it a little bit, but I'm going to show you what I found. So if you pick this up and flip it on the back side, you see that there is a chain mechanism under the bottom of it. See that? So when you turn this nut right here from the other side, when you turn it, it turns this chain which rises or drops the threaded rods in there. So if this chain is loose or something, mine was pretty loose. I tightened it up a little bit, but not too much. If you make it too tight, it won't turn good. If it's too loose, it jumps around like this and it doesn't stay on the gears. So what I did was, don't tighten the gears. If you tighten these, the gears won't turn. So you tighten them just enough so that they'll still turn but won't be wobbly. Okay. I took this bolt loose and I slid this. You can slide this back and forth. I slid this forward to tighten the chain a little bit. And then once I did that, I put the drill on the nut on the other side, and I'm going to show you how this turns. Now I got a drill on it, I'm going pretty fast. So I'm going to keep adjusting this until I get it to spin, you know, without clanking. And then once I get that'll fix the way the part that the wood sits on for the planer that goes up and down, it'll make it, you know, move a lot smoother. All right, I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, guys, I'm back. So I went and got me some chain lube. I use this on my motorcycle also. What we're gonna do is, well, I've already sprayed it, so I already sprayed the chain underneath. I tighten it just enough. I mean, it still has some play in it, but you want the chain to have some play in it. You don't want it too tight. Let's check the other side. The chain that is connected to the feeder. I lubed it all the way around. Got a little bit of lube on the gear, but that's okay. That's all lubed up. All right, so now I'm gonna move over to the adjustment rods. It's 4 of them in here. I'm gonna lube those also. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna dry spray these posts. So I'm gonna put a dry lubricant on them. Let's see if I can get it. All right, and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do that to all of the posts. And I like to wipe off, you know, any excess. So all this back here and stuff like that, I'll wipe all that off just to get it so that it's just not dripping all everywhere. All right, so once you have everything all lubed, you're going to turn your bit up. Now all I'm doing is, you know, greasing it and rolling it back and forth. I've already done the other 4 posts, the ones in the back and the one up here in the front, and then this one. So I have everything all cleaned up and lubed. All right guys, I'm back with the Rong Fu joiner planer. I just want to tell you guys it was extremely difficult to put this thing back together. That's why I didn't record it, okay? But I got it back together and everything is set perfectly, okay? I'm going to explain to you how to do that. First of all, I want to start off by telling you, do not take out these Allen bolts. I told you to take these Allen screws out. It's 2 up under the fence and it's 2 here. I told you to take those out to disassemble it. Don't take those off or out. What you want to do is you only want to take out the 12mm bolts on the outside. So take these 2 off, and then it's 2 on the opposite side. Then take these 2 off, and then it's 2 on the opposite side. It's not that hard. Once you get those off, they should come off fairly easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this side and I'm going to explain something to you. Once you lube the chain and you want to put the actual joiner back onto the table, you're going to center it up as best as you can, because the belt goes from the motor, which is connected to the table, to the joiner, which is sitting on the table. So you want to position the planer or joiner on the table so that the belt will turn in the middle of the pulleys. So it'll be in the middle of this pulley, in the middle of that pulley. And you just keep turning it and adjusting it until that belt will turn without being on the edge of the pulley or about to come off. You want it to stay in the middle, okay? Now, once you get it positioned correctly, you're gonna go ahead and bolt this joiner down to the actual table. It's a bolt right here, and then there's one on the opposite side. Okay, now once you get that tightened down, you turn the belt by hand freely, and just to see if the belt's going to come off. And the belt doesn't come off, it's cool. All right, so once you have both sets of belts on, because you know you have that little small belt, that small belt goes on first, then the cover goes on. Okay, after that, the outer belt that turns the blade, that goes on. Okay, then this cover goes on. All right, that's how you get that side together. But before you do that, you want to make sure that these two tables are level. Okay, to do that, what you're going to do, this right here is the in feed table, this is the out feed table. Okay, you're going to loose install these, put them on, put the screws in, have it loose. Okay, once it's on the table, you're going to raise this table all the way to the highest position. So you're going to turn this until it rides all the way up and stops. Once you get it all the way up, you're going to level it as much as you can, you know, with your level. Okay, now once you get it level, you're going to take a ruler. I got like a metal ruler. You're going to put this ruler on this in feed table. Okay, and you're going to hold it down flat. Once you hold it down flat, you're going to see a gap up under this side, and what you're going to do is you're going to adjust this side until you get it to meet here. Now you're going to have to do it for this side and this side. So you're going to get it to meet perfectly on that side, tighten it up just a little bit, take it and put it on this side, you know. And I took a hammer and kind of was just tapping it a little bit, took a screwdriver and kind of put it up under this area to raise it a little bit until I got it to sit right. Now once the gap was closed on this side and that side, then I took the leveler right here, and I put it across, and just to make sure that it didn't rock. If it didn't rock, that thing was flat. Okay, that's how I did it. I'm sticking to it. All right, now the bubble is off, but it's off because of the floor. The floor is not even. All right. Now once you get that table set, leave it alone. Okay, then that's when you're going to go on this side and you're going to start putting everything back together. I already kind of went over that part, so I'll leave that alone. All right, so now you got the table, you got the joiner connected to the table, you got the in feed and the out feed tables level, and then you got the small belt on. Then you put this plastic piece on, screw it down, then you put the big belt on, then you put this cover for the outer the big belt on, put the two screws down, you know, at the bottom, one on that side, one on that side. Okay, now after you do all of that, your planer should be basically straight and ready to use. Okay, so you're gonna make sure you tighten everything down. Tighten everything is, don't strip it, but tighten it down real tight. Okay, now I had to set the blades in this thing. That was kind of difficult too, but let me explain to you how I did it. Okay, so I got this magnet, it's a joiner blade set tool. It's a magnet. Basically what I did was I turned the blade until the blade was in the middle, and then I took this and I set this on top of the blade, and I pushed down on the blade flat. Then I tightened the blade up. It has 3 screws in there to tighten the blade up. And then I did that to the opposite side of the blade too, because there's actually 2 blades, not 1. And then once I got them tight, I took this ruler And the easiest way to do it is to take that outer this cover off so that you can turn the belt instead of trying to turn it by the blade. You can just turn the belt on this side. Always make sure that this thing is unplugged before you do anything with that blade, okay? Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do that. I'm telling you to do something that I have not done. We're gonna unplug this. All right, now that's unplugged. Okay, so like I said, once I get the blades in that level to the outfeed table, I kind of wanted it level to the outfeed table, so I put the blade in the middle, like right there, right in the middle. And then I laid this on top of the blade and pushed the blade down so to be level with this table. Once I did that, then I wanted to see how much this blade would travel. So you put the blade all the way to the end like that, and then you can put this, you can put the what is it, the ruler wherever you want to. So I put it on like 7 right there, and then you turn this blade and see how much this ruler travels. See it? See it moving like that, okay? And once you see how much the ruler travels, you put it on this side and you do the same thing to see how much it travels. If it's even, the blade is even on both sides, and the same way with the other side of the blade, the second blade or whatever, okay? All right, so I think I covered everything, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you that this machine actually works. So give me a second. All right, so I got it set up ready for me to feed across the joiner section of it. It's odd that you feed from the joiner one way, and then when you want to use the planer, you go back the opposite way. I'm guessing because that blade is only sharp on one side. So if you want to join wood, you have to go from the in-feed table out. And if you want a plain wood, you have to go from the out-feed table in. It's kind of weird, but I get it. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and turn this bad boy on. It's on. Take your old scrap piece of wood. As you can see, wood's fairly smooth all the way down. It's pretty cool, but it works. All right, we're gonna give you a demonstration of the planer. The planer, I'm gonna have to turn the machine around though. Give me 1 second. So I got it turned around, and we're gonna do the planer portion of it. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to pull back this protective cover for the joiner section, and you're going to take off the fence. Okay, it's a reason why you got to take the fence off. Okay, then you take this shield here and you put this over the blade. Okay, what that does is when you cut the wood, it shoots the wood out. So it's basically angling the wood to shoot out the top. That's what this is actually for. Okay, it's like dust. It's like dust collection basically, but it's shooting it out. It just makes it so that stuff's not flying all in your face. Okay, that's what that's for. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to measure the wood. Okay, so we're going to go down. I'm going to measure this wood and it is, let's see, hold up, it is 1 1/8 inches. Okay, so it's 1 1/8 inches. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go down up under here, and you're gonna take off, since it's 1 1/8 inches, you're gonna go back, you know, to 1 inch or just a little bit back from it. So you're gonna go right here, let's see, you're gonna go here and you're gonna go back 1, and that's gonna take off 1/8 of wood. All right, so what I'm gonna do is put my drill on here, and I'm gonna move this up 1/8 of an inch. Alright, so it's on 1/8 of an inch. Okay, now what you're gonna do is you're going to turn it on. Take your wood, and there you go. So I just cut off 1/8 inch of wood off the planer, off the wood with the planer, and that's it, man. So I got this baby working. All right, guys, this is JOATD, and this right here was very difficult. All right, you guys have a good one.